Turn it down.
Turn it down.
Turn it down. Turn it down. What's up, Michael?
Not much. Hello.
How's it happening?
It's not too bad.
How's it happening?
How's it? It's happening very, very much so.
What you want to talk about tonight?
We're gonna be talking about processors and stuff.
Processor and stuff.
Yep.
You want to get miniaturized?
Yeah, sure.
There we go.
Going
Miniaturized.
over to our.
And put this thing
There we go.
into huge mode.
There we go.
There we go.
All right. Processors, types, and speeds. There's a little bit to go over here. Got some stuff for you guys, just to kind of learn about at base level processors and stuff. So I'm going to be going over that in this slide deck. So shall we away?
Shall we away?
So what is a processor? Well, that's right behind me. There's one right here. That's an Intel i7, Intel Core i7. So a processor is an electronic circuit that performs operations on some external data, memory, or system, or some other data stream, also known as a processing unit. They take the form of microprocessors. This is fabricated on a single MOS, or metal oxide semiconductor integrated circuit chip, or IC. Computers as well as gaming consoles use all different kinds of processors to improve the quality of their systems. It just tells you how fast you can go and what you can do with that speed. Typical Intel processors are on an x86. What's that? Bit, right?
Well, x86. The framework is x86.
Right.
286, 386, 486,
Right.
and on and on.
Hey, Matt, what's going on, man?
Yeah, that's broadcast. Uh-oh.
Yep.
It's Matt again.
All right. So currently, the Intel uses an i9 generation 5.3 gigahertz processor, which has an up to an 18 core processor within it, for like the Intel side, and then the AMD uses a Ryzen 9 3950X 5.1 gigahertz processor which has 10 cores, up to 10 cores within it. Up until recently, Apple was using Intel processors, but come this spring of 20 list of instructions framework. Up until the spring of 21, which is going to be next year, they're going to be straying away and introducing their new Apple silicon chip, which is, I guess, speculation right now. There's a couple of things up on the web about it. But previously they were using Intel processors, but it looks like they're trying to shy away and start using their own, which is pretty cool, just so there's not just these two powerhouses.
Yeah, and it was like that before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for about 15 years, Apple's been using i9, or I should say Intel processors.
Right.
Up to the i9 that they're using now.
The 10th generation.
Yeah, and they're 10th generation i9s. They're expensive chips, but they work well. Apple's not really been known for being cheap.
No.
So
if you're getting an Apple, you're paying for an Apple.
Yeah. I'm not saying that x86 list of instructions in the framework around Intel processors is built around that framework.
Right.
It's been around back in the olden days. They had the SX chips and the DX chips, and one had a math coprocessor and one didn't, and
just had to figure out which one.
It was funny because they just literally just snapped the math coprocessor off of the chip in the factory.
Oh, okay.
To make the difference between the two of them. So
that's fine. So moving on, we have the continued part of it. So here's a processor right above me. This is what we had covered a couple live streams ago, or a couple trivia nights ago, where you can actually cook egg and bologna and all different kinds of things on a processor because it gets so dang hot.
Yeah, they get hot.
They get really, really hot. But the clock speed is measured in gigahertz, which is GHz, capital G, capital H, lowercase z.
Mm-hmm.
It just breaks down the workload into 5 portions or steps, which is a prefetch, which is where it gets the information. decode, which is the first initial breakdown of said fetch or data or whatever. Then it goes into decode 2 just to finalize everything to make sure that that's as broken down as it can be. It shoots it off when it executes it and writes it back by building it back up on the other side. Pretty much just how, I guess.
It's the loop it follows as it processes the data. Right?
Yeah, that's how it goes through and everything. Most computers had I guess 2 to 6 processing unit. The more cores, the better. But now it looks like we're more in a like 10 to 18 cores. But again, the more cores, the better. The number just is going to keep increasing as these computers just become stronger and stronger.
Yeah, miniaturizing the circuits. And adding more and more to a chip. Man.
Yeah, there's so much more you could do with the amount of space they used to be nowadays.
Yeah. Think about it used to be a room full of computer. Now it's just a phone full of computer.
1/18 of your desk is your computer. It's crazy. Moving on to the types of processors, we're going to be talking about two of the big ones. So in the red corner, we have the AMD, and in the blue corner, we have the Intel. So we're going to be talking about red versus blue. So when I refer to them as that, you know which one I'm talking about. You all, I'm sure, have seen an Intel sticker on your laptop or some sort of Intel.
Somebody's car.
Yeah, anywhere. They are a little bit more expensive. You get a lot. Bless you. You get a lot out of the value. Intel has been voted higher in polls. However, like on average, they are more expensive. We were looking at it, and it looks like the average Intel i9 is roughly like $1,200.
No, they're top of the line.
Apple uses them, so
yeah.
So to talk about AMD, they are not as powerful as the blue counterpart, but they're more affordable, looking around like the $700 to $800 range. But if you're looking to go in on a budget, AMD is definitely going to be your best friend when it comes to processors. They help you, build up on a budget, whereas if you're looking to just go all in, just put your money into your system, Intel is going to be what you want. They do have a better price tag, but on at the end of the day, in my opinion, I feel like they're more worth it. But
like Matt said, don't slight red.
Yeah.
AMD. A lot of people love AMD processors. They're less expensive, so you can build a less expensive platform. You can probably go for more power.
Mm-hmm.
You can spend the same money and probably get more power than you would, more cores, more power than you would in an AMD or with an AMD chip than you would with an Intel chip.
Right.
But it's personal preference. It's like Chevy versus Ford, right?
Right. Ford, Ferrari.
Ford versus Ferrari.
Right.
Get this Red Ripper. More Intel. Yeah. Okay. Cool, Mako. Let's keep rolling on, right?
Right. All right. So looking at the next thing we have are tech specs for Intel. Just kind of shows you everything for over here. The last bit of, I guess, product that they put out and whatnot. So you guys could go ahead and just pause, take a look over this. If there's anything on here that you want to look at, Intel put this out, so it should be as accurate as possible.
Yeah. Doesn't have a date on it, but
no, it does not. But I did get this from the website pretty recently when I was tasked with this last week, so it should be up to date. It has the i9 on there. So,
it does.
But I guess if it's 10th generation, it's been for a while.
Yeah, and it's you look at this one. It's got the i9, but it's a 2.4 gigahertz clock speed, 5.3 max turbo. It's got 8 to 16 threads or cores, 8 cores, 16 threads.
Right.
So it's a little bit older than the top specs we saw today, but that was just the specs we saw right before we went live. So
subject to change.
And on the AMD side, they threw their prices up there. They weren't afraid. They weren't afraid to throw their prices up there.
Right.
Always backwards.
Yeah. For AMD, they want to let you know what your investment is getting into it, but Intel just wants you to
fall in love with the chip first.
Yeah, and then learn about the price later. I've always been PC desktop AMD, mobile Intel.
Yeah, we'll talk about them in mobile platforms too, right?
Yes, we will.
Okay.
Which actually brings us to our next slide, which is ARM processors. ARM is more common with mobile devices, so we didn't really count them in the previous battle of red versus blue because they're more suited. Previously, they're more suited for mobile devices, but it looks like moving forward, they're going to be playing a bigger role in computing and desktop functionality, which is really cool. So ARM or Acorn RISC machine, is reduced instruction set computing, which is abbreviation or an anagram, acronym within an acronym.
Yeah.
But they use a lot less energy to put out than an x86 or 86 or an AMD processor. Your phone will get hot, but it doesn't get as hot.
They will be cooking bologna on your phone normally.
Very beneficial for processors and mobile devices, bringing along with it reduced output of heat, as we just mentioned. And then ARM actually sells the designs of the chips to manufacturers as opposed to manufacturing them themselves, which I guess is smart because they're cutting down on like cost of materials and everything.
It's definitely do a model, yeah.
Yeah. So they just sell them out to Apple. Well, they had previously sold them out to Apple and Intel because they had just really good designs in such a small space.
Yeah.
And then the ARM is RISC, while the x86 to 64-bit is CISC, or Complex Instruction Set Computing. They're just designed for mobile devices.
Yeah.
It's just
a lot smaller, a lot cooler, a lot quieter.
Right.
A lot of benefits to an ARM processor.
Mm-hmm.
And then, they talked a little bit, some of the articles I read, that new Apple processors to be ARM-based.
Right.
I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah.
Because of the silicone.
It could be
a
design that they kind of modified or something. But again, computers are getting more powerful. The space that they're allotting themselves to use is a little bit more compact. So ARM processors for like laptops and stuff, it just seems like the next logical move, I guess. So we're next up, we're going to be talking about the 32-bit versus a 64-bit processor. 32-bit has been a little bit more weeded out recently, but it's still worth talking about because some people do prefer the 32 just for what they're doing. But just to put it out there, the 64-bit is more capable than a 32-bit. It's double, so obviously it can handle more. The big difference between 32 and 64 is 64 is capable 32 is capable of handling a limited amount of RAM, whereas 64 is more capable of utilizing that amount of
tons of RAM.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
So it's just crazy.
And it's been a while. I think it's either 4 or 8 gigs of RAM is all you could put in a 32-bit.
Right.
Because the address space is 32 bits long.
Yeah.
So you couldn't address all the RAM. Now 64-bit, obviously twice as big, but is exponentially bigger.
Right.
And can handle a ton more.
Number wise, it's double, but like functionality wise, it's just crazy bigger.
Oops. I went to move my the graphic. I couldn't.
Oh, you're good.
Look is right behind us.
Yeah, that's all good. So yeah, just to look at these examples. So we have our Mario on the the left?
The left, yeah.
Yeah, the left. In the 8-bit style, which use the 32-bit processors.
Oh no, it's 8-bit processor.
Or 8-bit processor. Sorry. Yeah, the 8-bit processors back in the day. It was like the 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
And then we have our more recent Mario, which is the 64-bit. Obviously, you can tell the difference. It's night and day with these two. I mean, they look like the same guy to me.
Yeah, somebody's drawing them. But you can definitely tell you get more processor space. You get more clear images, faster processing, all that
clean. And so, yeah, out with the old and with the new and the bigger, just like we were saying for the computers. Yeah. It's going to be that way moving forward. And to finish it off, we have something we're actually going to be working on personally with the Raspberry Pi model. Raspberry Pi is a small single board of computers, all kind of strung together, but it all fits in a nice little compact spot. So currently, the Raspberry Pi version 3 and the ones now use a BMC 2837 Broadcom chip, which is what the big green part is, right? Or
well, yeah, the whole computer's on one silicone wafer, one silicone chip. So it's a computer on a chip. They're actually on the fourth generation now. The Raspberry Pi version 4 is out now. I think this is a 4.
Okay.
This guy here's a 4 that we'll show you in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
which means they're a little more powerful. They keep adding to these as well.
It just shows you how much you can fit into such a small amount anymore. So on the Raspberry Pi that we have, it does use an ARM processor. So this is an example of, I guess, ARMs coming out of cell phones and going into more computers. Even though the Raspberry Pi is technically a mobile device.
Reach across there. Sorry about that, guys.
So, yeah, point it out. So that is our ARM processor right there. It takes up so little real estate. I mean, the USB ports take up more, So.
Yeah. USB there. It's good. Nice chipset though. It's got the HDMI output, or HDMI output here, and then it's got the USB-C.
USB-C.
There, and then the regular USB.
Headphone jack right next to it.
Headphone jack, yeah. Ethernet cable connection. It's nice. These they do get hot. They don't get as hot as obviously an ARM or as an Intel chip or something like that, or AMD. So we do have heat sinks that go on the different, like the graphics processor and the CPU, obviously, and a little tiny fanola. My biggest fan.
Is it?
Right there is my biggest fan right there. So yeah, you definitely, that's like you're talking about. There's that ARM processor right there. You kind of see both sides of this thing.
Doesn't need to be like punched down or anything.
Nope. There's a spot for your SD card.
Right. So it's a neat little device. I can't wait to actually work with it moving forward. But we got to know all this stuff before we can play with it, right?
Yep. We got to get that stuff down, and then, we talk about the other one. Maybe we can put that in here. This is a circuit board, logic board, because Apple likes to call them logic boards. So this is a logic board. This is out of an iMac. Actually, an iMac we're going to rebuild because we burned this out at some point. But you can see right there, just if you look at the size of this heatsink, we need to maybe zoom out a bit with this camera and move it over there. There we go. And you can see there's the chip is under here, and you can kind of see it a little better if we go on the other side. You can see where it actually is. It's right here.
It needs to have its own little area so it doesn't burn up everything around it.
And then all this ducting and vent work and cooling is to keep this thing cool, because it just puts out so much heat.
Yeah.
And we see in other, like in the Dell box, they're going to bring the Dell box out, but it's got a huge heat sink on it too. It's like sticks way up out of the board. But here's your logic board, and if you look at the difference, obviously between an Intel, this is an i5, and let's see, we'll just do that Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
So this is part of a computer here. This is the logic board. The RAM goes here. It doesn't have like the power supply and all that stuff. And then this is pretty much the same thing here, just in a small form factor that obviously is a little
itty-bitty living space.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of cool, right?
Yeah, it's insane how, what is that, 1/16 the size of this logic board?
You think about that? Yeah, probably about 1/16 or smaller.
Yeah, it's insane. It's so crazy. So the amount of stuff we could do with it is really cool.
And the funny thing about this one will run that Raspbian operating system, a Linux operating system, and run all those old classic 8-bit games, Super NES, NES, GameCube, Game Boy, Game Boy Advanced. All those things will be able to run on this little
invisible board,
invisible device.
I think green was a good choice for it.
So it's kind of cool. Processors just part of the rundown. You can tell us more stuff though, right? You're going to talk about what other stuff you can tell us about later. Not tonight, but
about this.
Just in general about all this stuff.
We'll definitely talk about it more when we're putting this back together, right?
Yeah, you're going to tell us about RAM, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
About GPUs.
Yeah.
RAM, GPUs.
I thought you meant about this stuff in particular.
Oh no.
Later, we're going to be covering RAM. Em's going to take care of cables and network stuff, or not network, cables and what was the other thing you're in charge of?
Cables and peripherals, right?
Yeah, peripherals. That one. So Tuesdays we're going to be doing these kind of like live stream things, just going over different pieces of parts of your computer and accessories for said devices and whatnot.
So we send in the Apple to Louis Roseman. Or the Apple will be we're actually doing the Apple right here on the channel. We're going to take apart the iMac. We're going to show you how to take the screen off of it, how to take all the components out, because luckily the logic board is behind everything else. Mm-hmm. So you have to take the speakers out, you have to take the power supply out, you have to take essentially everything out of the shell. You got to take the screen off, obviously. Mm-hmm. Take everything out, and then we're going to...
Sounds like the hardest part is taking that damn screen off.
Yeah, and then we got to put it back together, hook it back up, we'll seal it back up, and if all works well, this is going to work. And the bad part is, to get a logic board, we had to get a used logic board. Mm-hmm. You can't get a new. It was it's an older 2015 or something.
Right.
iMac. So we couldn't get a new logic board, so we had to buy a used one. It's supposed to work. It's got a warranty, so we'll see if it's good to go. We did buy the warranty, so we'll.
But that also means that we got to get it in sooner than later, so we can figure out if it works or not.
Yeah, exactly. So it's got to be one of the projects. So it's just it is 2 projects we've got right here. The Raspberry Pi. This thing is going. If you didn't know, this is going into a VHS cassette tape
of
Tron. We're gonna take apart. We're gonna put this in there, and we're gonna set it up. Got the controllers, got the power supply, got everything ready to go. Just got to do it. And then this is obviously a project where we're gonna put that i5 iMac back together, get it up and running, and back in the game.
Sounds good.
So,
if you are looking to pick up a Raspberry Pi of your own, if we've interest to you, if you're looking to pick up one of these, if it kind of interests you, if you didn't know about it and everything, there's a link down in the description for an Amazon affiliate. If you want to pick one up, probably about like $60.
It's like $60. It's not the full on. This one's the whole kit with the controllers and all that stuff. If you just want a Raspberry Pi to play with, that's $60 for the whole thing.
So much more stuff you could do with them. You could just, hook it up to an Arduino, make it do like some routing stuff.
I mean, you could learn hacking on this. You can. Yeah. There's all kinds of stuff you can do with a Raspberry Pi nowadays. I've seen people build little clusters of servers, like big data storage servers or backup servers, or all kinds of just craziness.
So if that's something you're into, you could definitely pick one up for yourself and kind of play around with it. But I think that's going to wrap it up for this processor bit.
Processor bit, okay. Yeah. So hopefully that interests you, get you going. Better than just me talking all the time. Got Mako and Emily going to talk a little bit.
Hold on.
And here's the YouTube Apple. Oh, he's the YouTube Apple repair guy with the warranty. Job just left. We're making us do Mac. Battery issues just like everybody else. Oh, we probably should just change that battery while we're in. Good point, Matt. Yeah, we're doing it as an exercise to learn this stuff, to get stuff going, to show people that it can be done at home, and you don't always have to send it out. It's nice to know those people that, can do it. Skim machines, too. Yeah, you can definitely make skim machines out of Raspberry Pis. Mm-hmm. Not the right thing, Matt. Come on, Matt. You're leading us down the dark trail. But anyways, that's good. Good thing, good stuff. Good seeing you guys tonight. Keep up the good fight. We'll see you tomorrow, 7:30 a.m. Cup of Cyber.
Don't forget, Thursday at 7, we are going to be taking on Trivia Night, number 9, I believe.
Number 9 in the series. So, Trivia Night number 9. So
put on your thinking caps and come on out to the Cyber-Recon page, and we'll love to school you there.
Yeah, come out to YouTube Cyber-Recon page. We'll see you then. Take care of your friends, your family, your coworkers, your organization. Do the right thing. Take care of each other. And what's it's not coming through. Matt's saying the whole walking and skimming in public with a Pi. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff you can do. A lot of, we'll call it pen testing. If you're doing it under authority, you're doing it, you're authorized to do it. Good tool to have. There's a lot of stuff you can do. But anyways, take care, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Be safe, and we'll see you then.
Have a good one.